What makes a genius? I've never been mistaken for a genius. I don't consider myself a genius, and that's okay. In high school, I thought the reason I didn't do well was because I wasn't smart and the kids that did do well were just genius. But when I went to college, I figured out that was wrong. The only difference was I studied, I did the work, and my grades, I almost made a 4.0 my first semester in college. That was the key difference. I wasn't stupid, they weren't any smarter than me. Which brings me to a recent article on Inc.com by Steven Denton about what makes a genius. Steven's a London-based dude. He's a published writer of Inc.com, the Huffington Post, and others, and he was the secretary of the Physics Special Interest Group of Mensa, UK, from 1985 to 1995. But there is something you should know about Steven. According to his own words on Quora, he sucks at magic. So his article is 3 mental habits that set true geniuses apart. Steven says, quote, "I think the main difference between average people and geniuses isn't raw intelligence. It's mindset, mental habits, and work ethic. Think of all the learning you do as you grow. As a child, my 1-year-old, all of the different experiences he takes in. Right now, everything is learning, everything. There isn't a moment of his day he's not learning. He'll learn from music class, he'll learn from church, he'll learn from home activities, he'll learn from swimming. All of the stuff you do as a kid when you grow up is integrated. It's all part of play and learning. There's really no artificial line between either. As we grow up, we get this 9 to 5 work versus play mentality, and in many cases that's an artificial line that we created. Here's what's interesting about how Steven portrays geniuses versus average people. Since geniuses perceive work as play, they'll work on it outside of those standard hours. It doesn't make any difference to them. They actually gain a competitive advantage by applying that extra time and the mental capacity to figure those things out and to be more creative with solutions. And we live in an age of unprecedented access to education. Books, ebooks, seminars, audiobooks, a favorite of mine, e-learning courses, videos. All of those things are at your fingertips. Never in the history of mankind has so much been at our fingertips to learn. So those mental habits of working on things outside of standard work time, it becomes a competitive advantage for those folks because they continue to learn and absorb those resources and creatively think about those things. Here's what's really interesting to me. It actually eliminates that artificial line between work and play. So it creates a lifelong competitive advantage for career success. Here's what it means for you. It's never been more important to find what it is you love to do. Here's why. Someone else in your same field has a substantial competitive advantage if they actually love what it is they're doing, because they'll apply themselves in this capacity. No matter how smart you are, you may not be able to keep up with what it is they're doing because they're simply applying more mental capacity to solve those things and to think through those things. And because they look at it as play, the stress isn't as significant, or the stress is non-existent in some ways, as you might find it if you were doing that as just a job. Going up against someone with a mindset that this is their passion, this is their devotion, know that they have that competitive advantage because they'll fully devote their mental capacity towards solving the things that they come across and outside of that artificial line of work versus playtime. But the good news is there's never been a better time to be able to find what it is you love to do and to just start doing it. So it's really important that you find what it is you love to do so you're firing on all cylinders and you're integrated. And then not only does it reduce stress in many ways, but it offers you that lifelong competitive advantage.
Pursuing your passion amplifies your competitive professional capabilities. As an integrated individual, you compound your potential.
Hi, and thank you. I want to tell you how grateful I am to have your viewership. I hope you'll subscribe if you haven't already, and maybe share my video with a friend if you think it'll help them out. I also wanted to invite you to give me any feedback in the comments or reach out to me via social media in the description below this video. I'd love to hear from you. It's the only way I'll get better. And finally, if you have any ideas, well, my ideas come from anywhere, so I would invite you to reach out to me, and hey, you never know. So I hope you'll stick around, and thank you so much for watching.